How are you?
I am well.
Awesome.
I don't think I've ever been interviewed before, so
No.
this is new for me.
Awesome. Good stuff.
I don't mind talking about myself though.
Awesome. Great. Good stuff. So tell me about yourself, your very beginnings to now.
Yeah, I am a second generation Floridian, for sure. My dad is from Miami, and my mom was born here at Halifax Hospital in 1952. So I am a second generation Daytonian. Much like Tristan, I grew up, here in this town, and seeing the whole spring break era come and go. I was a little too young for that, but definitely my older siblings got into trouble, so they saw a little bit of that, and I'm still living it, I guess.
Awesome. Good stuff. Man, I remember like living in Colorado and seeing like spring breakers on MTV.
Yeah.
Was it that wild?
Yeah, I was a bit sheltered from it, because I was a little too young. But it was definitely around town. And Bike Week, it was like another crazy event. It's very commercialized now, much like spring break is. But like back then, like my mom would, hoard up groceries for the week and like load up on ammunition and stuff because we grew up. We were near the Iron Horse, and so like the Hell's Angels and the Outlaws were like brawling and shit, So like it was always like dangerous time of year, when Bike Week used to come around. Now it's like money pours into the city, so it's more of like a commercial thing now. And you don't see too many outlaw bikers anymore. It's mostly like stockbrokers and lawyers and doctors and stuff trailering down their bikes instead of riding them.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a trip. Like I know it's like we have Biketoberfest too, and
Yeah.
everyone comes down for that. And I didn't know like the bikers had double lives, like being doctors and lawyers and stuff.
Yeah, it's not that whole like was it the 1%er or whatever thing. You do still have those bikers, but more often than not, when I talk to those 1%er people, they're super nice. I don't know what they do on their other time, but when they deal with me, they're usually pretty nice and they tip well.
Good stuff. Yeah, like Sons of Anarchy and Mine and stuff. They paint a different picture for the rest of us.
Yeah, I was a huge fan of Sons of Anarchy. Absolutely, I watched every episode.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
My buddies, the Chimps out in Los Angeles, have like 2 songs on the Sons of Anarchy.
Oh, really? Yeah, he had a lot of good music. That dude, what's his name? Man, I forget the guy who made that show. But he always had good music on that show, for sure,
Most definitely.
It's one of the things I did like about it.
Gets you pumped up.
Yeah, either way, or sad, there's a lot of sad moments in that show.
Yeah,
A
big time.
lot of people dying in that show left and right.
It's so graphic too.
Very, for cable TV, I was very surprised.
Yeah, they definitely turned it up a notch.
Yeah.
A couple of notches.
What you could get away with on cable television,
Indeed. Oh man.
Yeah.
And I've had one incident with the Hells Angels in Los Angeles one time. It was like my Huntress Thompson moment.
Oh no.
Yeah, it was fun. Like they shut down part of the Sunset Strip,
Yeah.
and they escorted like 5 Finger Death Punch, Rob Zombie, and Huntress and stuff into the Whiskey a Go-Go.
Oh wow.
Yep, and they were running security, and it was
They,
super
they
awesome.
still do that?
Yeah.
Even after the whole Rolling Stones incident and all that, they still run security? Oh,
Well, this
wow.
was like back in like 2012. though.
Okay, yeah. So, that's wild.
And like I always go to the Rainbow Bar and Grill all the time.
Yeah.
Like, Lemmy has his own statue,
Yeah, we were talking about that. Was Lemmy's place? Did he live above it or something?
something like
That's
that.
awesome.
And like
R.I.P.
indeed, R.I.P. indeed. And it was like they told me stories like the wait staff, like when the LA riots were happening, like they just like the Hells Angels like locked arms and like you can damage everywhere else but not the Rainbow.
That's cool. You
Yeah.
hear about that story with other like little Chinatown they had there. All them store owners like protected their own businesses. That's awesome to hear. Because you gotta protect your business.
Absolutely. You're 100% right about the 1%. They're really good folks and they tip and all that good stuff.
Yeah, they're nice. It's just probably something you shouldn't cross. It's
Most
good to be on the good side.
Absolutely. Good stuff. And so we were talking earlier, and how did you link up with Matthew and Tristan and stuff?
Oh well, so when I was 16, I was starting a band with my buddy Brett, and we needed a lead guitarist. And a mutual friend of ours, Colin, he said, "My buddy John plays guitar. You should." And I think we tried to listen to him over the telephone, and we're like, "We're coming over." So we came over, we watched him play. We're like, "Yeah, you're in the band, dude." And I also saw his brother walking down the hallway. Didn't know it was his brother, and I was like, "Hey, you got a sister? She looks pretty hot." He goes, "That's my brother, man." And I was like, "Oh, I'm just kidding. I'm fucking with you." But yeah, we've been friends for 22, 23 years now. So, and then they started this business 11 years ago, right when I was kind of winding down my lawn business. I was tired of cutting lawns. I did it for 5 years, and I was like, "Hey, I need a job. Hey, I need a job. Hey, I need a job." So 2 or 3 days turned into 6 days, and then I've reeled it in since then. I'm not working 6 days a week anymore, but I love it here. I love cutting fish. It's one of my favorite things to do. Yeah, just assembling the fish and then selling them by the pound, and then telling people how to cook them too. That's some of the really fun parts. Is we have a lot of tourists that come into town and they want to try our seafood. So I say, you should try this, whatever's in season, and then usually the grill is the best way to do seafood, any seafood. So usually they have access to a grill at their condos and all that stuff. So that's the way I put them in that direction.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
And you're quite knowledgeable too. And like, when I was here with Ryder and he was playing music, and I had the fish sandwich here, I was like, as soon as the chef brought it out, I was like, my eyes just opened. It was just like, this is really good seafood.
Yeah, we took a lot of care into that fish sandwich particularly. We started with like low country boils, sausage, egg, corn, potato, whatever seafood we have, smothering it all in garlic gold band butter. But we moved on to frying, because everyone loves fried stuff, and fried seafood particularly. That gives us an opportunity to make an awesome fish sandwich. So down to the ciabatta roll, to the red onion, to the romaine lettuce, our own homemade tartar sauce, and then your choice of fillets. We always have catfish, but right now black drum, which is the cousin to the red drum, which you cannot get commercially. You won't find Florida red drum in any restaurant. So black drum is their cousin, and it's just as good. So black drum sandwich. That's the name of the game right there.
And then you can tell it's made out with love, because it's just like, it's so delicious. It's like, I couldn't get enough. I was gonna order seconds, but I was like,
Yeah.
better simmer down.
When we first tried it, and we kind of all put it together, and it was a lot of ideas from everyone that worked here. What we should use, like I was saying with the red onion, that was a big no, it should be white. No, it should be red onion. It's like, red onion it is. We're taking a vote. But yeah, the first time I had one of our fish sandwich, I got goosebumps a little bit. I was like, I couldn't believe this came from where I work. I was extremely proud.
So many hidden gems in this area. It's like, I'm so glad I ran into Tristan and Annie when I was doing stand up at the Nog.
Yeah.
And they just saw me do stand up, and I saw Matt or Seafood. I'm like, I know John, and I just met Tristan, so I didn't know they were brothers.
Yeah.
They don't look alike. So.
Not really, no. The one looks like their mom, and the other one looks like their dad.
Yep.
But then their personalities are exactly the opposite.
Oh.
Yeah. But they're good people, and I work for them, and they have great business. I'm happy to work for them.
Most definitely. When you were in a band together, what kind of music did you all play?
Oh, early on, it was all punk rock, And then, John really started evolving with his songwriting. He was a little bit more of a, intricate songwriter. It was definitely more difficult to learn his songs. As to where Brett was more shooting from the hip, he's still here. He's still alive. But yeah, he has more of a natural rhythm. I could learn his songs in 5-10 minutes. Not to say they were easy necessarily. They just had a natural flow to them, And it was always a joy to write songs with both those guys, because it was a different experience, and I got a lot out of it, And John continues to blow my mind with his songwriting. Even in Hot Robot, those guys write amazing songs. It's wild, And they're one of the best kept secrets as a local band in this area, easily, They just need to get on that marketing tip.
most definitely. And I took photos of them when they were performing at the Nog, and
Yeah.
yep. And I was talking to Hida, Ben's girlfriend, and or significant other,
Mhm.
and she was like, yeah, they got to really get on that marketing tip because they just like put the event on and they don't promote it much, and they're like a lot of people still show up.
Yeah.
That's
There's a lot. They got tons of friends, and there's people that know. You just kind of have to know. But it's, their dad has been in advertising for years and years and years, and he said something to me one time. How else are they supposed to know about it? Clairvoyance, you know? And I was like, Dad's in advertising. Maybe you should listen to that guy. At least make a couple stickers.
Absolutely. Most definitely. Good stuff. But yeah, I love punk rock, and that's like the spirit of it all. It's like we're not in it to make any money. We just want to bring people together.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That was, the spirit always lives on, I think, in any musical project that I'll do. It's not going to be bang your head against the wall or want to trash the place or angry or complain. When I go back and listen to a lot of that old 90s punk rock, these people are complaining a lot.
Yeah.
So that kind of bothers me. But I love the music, the music always has that aggression that I'll never get away from. So like, that spirit definitely transfers through like Holy Human and any other music that I'm right nowadays.
Holy Human. Tell me about Holy Human.
Holy Human. So Holy Human is a band started by Matthew Wall, and it was a side project from his other band Radon Moon, and he was doing it solo. He made 2 albums, and then Radon Moon, his main band, was kind of fizzling out, and I hadn't been in a band for about 2 years, which was different for me. And then I saw him in the back of the Nog, actually, and me and Matt were hanging out, and I've known Matt since I was 11. We both met at church, and we were both church kids getting in trouble. I was cursing. I don't know what he was doing wrong. Kids are saying pretty much, but I was like, yeah, I'm definitely playing music for you, man. I don't care what it is, dude. I'm in, dude. And he gave me the CDs, and I listened to them. I didn't know what I was gonna do. Like, this is way spaced out, like psych rock, slow psych rock. And I was just coming off 10 years of being in a hard punk band, like, and so I wasn't really prepared for that. But it's worked out awesome. We have a new album that's just about done. I think we got maybe one more song to cover, and I think we kind of already know it. So I've sped him up, and he slowed me down. So that's kind of where me and him have met in the middle a little bit, So it's made me a way better musician, and I'm sure he'd probably say the same, And then we have Matt Arberton on keys. He plays the keyboard, and Eric Carroll's on the bass. And Eric's our second bass player, but he has his own Latin style. Yeah. So me and him get along real well. And you got to have a tight rhythm section in a band. That's like first and foremost. You got to be tight with your bass player. Bass player's got to be tight with your drummer, and the rest of the guys will fall in line. And they're just icing on the cake.
That's like my favorite thing about like discovering like the music aspect of it, like from like a journalist point of view, is like seeing how like the bass player feeds off the drums, playing back and forth, and then like it really falls into place.
Yeah, it starts flowing. It's that little itch, I don't know. It's hard to explain, but you feel like a little itch, and you scratch it, and it gets better and better and better, and it grows. And sometimes it resembles nothing about what the original thing was. It's morphed or blossomed into something beyond, that you would ever comprehend.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
So do you have any future shows coming up
Yeah.
for Holy Human?
Holy Human's playing Saturday at Piranha's. We're doing a 3-hour set. We're the only people playing, I believe. And there's going to be a lot of Matt Wall acoustic stuff, and probably songs that we don't play as a band, that we don't even know as a band, probably, that are off his other albums. And then we're going to probably rock out for about an hour and a half, or 45 minutes, as long as we can take it, until I have to pee.
Piranha's off A1A, right?
It's off of US 1. It's across from the bowling alley.
Oh, that's right.
Right at the corner, like at the bend in US 1, kind of does a little chicane.
I think they have like a massive like food thing that I saw on like
Yeah, they have a giant burger there. I forget what it's called, but they have good burgers regardless of the giant one. And they great food. They
Wow.
got the strawberry field salads that I'm just in love with. I know you put strawberries on a salad.
I need to go for sure. Yeah. Man, and what other bands have you been in?
So I was saying, like, the Uprise, was a big band I was in. We accomplished a lot in that band. We played everywhere in Florida, just about, and one place in Georgia, Valdosta. But as far as like marketing and like being like kind of, I would say, somewhat successful band, we didn't get paid, but every bit of money we got, we put right back into the band, and then some. Like we got a van with a trailer to haul our stuff. I was putting a lot more money into my drums back then. I don't think I've even bought anything new for my drums in years, and I've definitely stripped it down. But then again, I was beating the hell out of it. Playing that music that hard, that fast, and that frequent. It takes a toll on your drum set. You're replacing drum heads and cymbals left and right. And cymbals are like $300 a piece. That's like a car payment,
Big time. Oh man, I only imagine. I mean, this is like the cheapest thing I ever got for like drums. It was like free at NAMM.
Yeah, the Vic Firth, man. That's a good brand.
Most definitely. Have you been to NAMM?
No, I haven't. I've only like the expo type deal. I've only been to like the Surf Expo, and that's like the Uprise was sponsored by Vestal Watches and Protocol Boarding Company. We had all these sponsors, that were like making our merchandise and giving us surfboards and stuff. And but that's like the only type of expo was like the Surf Expo that I went to. I always wanted to go to one of those music ones, like NAMM, and there's other ones, right? Like I can't think of the name of it.
Sure. I can't even think of one either. I just went to like the main one in Anaheim.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's where the main one is. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw so many like musicians, like famous ones, just walking around like it was nothing. I was like, this is so neat.
Yeah, that's crazy. And you get to see like people jam and do things like just like not on stage, but kind of like low key. That's when you're gonna see the good stuff. I was just like seeing people on stage doing their stuff. Is wondrous. And amazing and stuff. But like when you get like around a campfire with some crazy good musicians, that's when you hear stuff that'll like just blow your mind.
Most definitely.
Which I've been lucky enough to see a few of those and unexpected people.
Definitely gems for sure.
Yeah.
That's what I love. It's just those hidden gems that you don't expect.
Yeah.
You just walk into it, and like I was interviewing Five Finger Death Punch at the Whiskey during when Hell's Angels was doing security, and they taught me a lesson like what Rob Zombie taught them, and they were like, you don't get paid for the time that you're on stage, you get paid for the time that you're off.
Right.
And I was like, I've never looked at it that way.
Yeah. You got to put in the time, and that might be something my robot needs to hear.
We'll have to get them to get it together.
Yeah, you need to go interview them, man. They're interesting people. I've known those guys a long time too. I mean, other than John, like I've known 22, 23 years. Pretty much almost the same. I've known Mike and Ben. Ben was actually in the Uprise. He played guitar instead of bass back then, and he's an amazing musician. I mean, Ben's a freak of nature. I don't know. That guy's like beyond smart too. Like some of my most favorite conversations were with that guy in the middle of the night driving one-eyed down I-4 or down 95, and he's just going off about the Illuminati or World Bank currencies, and like, I was like, how do you know all this stuff? And he went to school. He's like a semester or two from being a lawyer or something. He's a big brain, but he's an amazing bass player and an amazing guitarist. And that's a pretty good drummer too.
He's so supportive of the comics because like whenever I put on my festival at the Nod or like do stand up, they're always there for me, and then they just like leave afterwards.
Oh, Ben?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
And stuff, and so
Yeah.
they just love my dirty material because like how you said Ben has like a really like good brain and big brain. And
Yeah.
And he was like he showed me like his altered reality thing.
Oh, his video game?
Yep.
Yeah, man.
I was like, man, he can make that, and I was like, this is so awesome to have like a friend like that.
Yeah, he's throwing some stuff around in that.
Yeah.
And they're sticking to things.
Yeah. Oh man. And like Kid and I talked about the video game, and I was like giving her some ideas. And I think that's why they stick around for my sets,
Yeah.
because like I get really naughty up there and like saying dirty things.
Hell yeah.
Because it's just like, where else can you be like speak dirty things in a microphone instead of like a dive bar comedy show?
Yeah, that's the appropriate place, I think.
That's why I love the Nog.
Oh
So,
yeah.
indeed.
Yeah, Keto was my gay girl this past weekend. We had a Swamp Fox Revival at my house, which was a bluegrass festival. It was the second year in a row, and she worked the front gate both nights. Yeah, she did a killer job.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And the farm's like, if you're in the know, you're in the know.
A little bit, yeah. We blew up, kind of like during COVID because there was no bars or no live music happening anywhere, and so it was kind of coinciding with my girlfriend moving in and then my buddy Tommy moving in the backyard. And it sounds weird when you say it like that, but it's 6.4 acres. It's a sizable piece of property. Like if I don't have to see anyone, I don't have to see anyone. I just go in my house. Look out the window. But Tommy's built his house out there, and I have a big barn that we've just about got all cleared out, and we're finally like reaping the rewards of 3 or 4 hard years of work. And running electric here, different plumbing. And yeah, Swamp Fox was a great success. I'm not sure what the numbers were or anything because it's all donation based. We're not running a business or anything like that. And if anything, I'll probably maybe incorporate it into like how churches do. But I think you need a council for that, like a 501(c) or some random numbers and letters acronym. But it's all donation based, and like we had to meet with like the city of Ormond Beach and stuff because we were making a ton of noise, and that's okay for us. We're in county, but right next to my property is Ormond Lakes, and it's Ormond Beach. So these people, they're not Floridians. They're from up north of Benel, and they're like, they want it to be like it is up north. And it's like, well, here's the thing: you moved in next to me. I've been here. Yeah, we've been there a long time, and it's just, we're not going anywhere. We're just getting started. So it's, and we're not doing anything wrong. And I've seen miracles out there. 2 people have gotten engaged out there. Just people have met their husbands and wives, and it's a beautiful thing, and we've had no problems really. So I don't think we're doing anything wrong. We don't think we're doing anything illegal. So.
And I love the vibes too. It's like in the ground, it's like so comfortable to walk on. Like your feet don't get tired. Like maybe it's like on the sea level too.
Right.
We're at sea level.
That swamp.
Yeah.
It's got some cushion to it.
Most definitely. Like I'm used to I used to go to like big old festival all the time. Like my feet would get tired.
Right.
And then when I was at the farm and at one time and like I just felt comfortable. It was like really good vibes there.
It's awesome to hear because that's what we're promoting. We had like an open invitation to everyone, and then it kind of got spoiled by a few different people, that just have a hard time getting along with other people, and that's on them, So we do it more like on invitation based now, and not to say that we don't have weird problems, but it's never really like a bad thing. Like it's always good. I don't know. I'm fortunate in that aspect, I believe, because it could go south real quick. There could be a fight or God knows whatever, or a fire, which has always been a thing of mine to worry about. But these are just anxieties that I usually keep to myself.
Indeed.
It doesn't help, We'll prevent a fire worrying about fire.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
And you talked about the bluegrass bands that were there. Like one stood out the most.
Well, so the headliner was a guy named Billy Gilmore, and he's part of a band called The Grass is Dead, and they play like Halloween and Sewanee Revival and a lot of that stuff. They're a big touring band, they get paid good to do what they do, and they're exceptional musicians. And just to hear the level of musicianship that they're bringing to the table, it makes you think twice about bluegrass. You know, like it's an underrated genre of music. These people can tell you every note they're playing. They're playing 1,000 notes a second. You know, they're going nuts. It's like speed metal, but it's bluegrass. You know, so it's pretty wild to see stuff like that. And then it's in my backyard, and that's just like crazy.
Mhm.
It's pretty crazy.
I've only been to one bluegrass festival in Pueblo, Colorado. I mean, it's it's everywhere. So it's like it's just like the Kentucky bluegrass. It's just
Right.
all over.
Yeah, and those people get down. You know, they're party all night long, man. I mean, the sun's coming up. I'm making my morning coffee, and they're still picking around the campfire. And that's what I was saying. Like around a campfire, you know, you're gonna hear some of the best music, not on stage. I
Exactly.
mean, you're gonna hear obviously great music on stage, but when you get people comfortable and to let their guard down a little bit and feel like they're at home, then you really see something special.
Most definitely. It reminds me of like the horror conventions that I go to. They're like, don't try to be a pain in the butt with them like when they're like signing autographs and
Yeah.
everything and waiting in line because they gotta do this for like 8 hours.
Yeah.
Wait until you go and chill at the bar and wait for them to come to you,
Mhm.
and they're totally different and chilled and relaxed.
Yeah.
That's when you want to get them.
Absolutely, you know, and they let their guard down. You know?
Strike up a conversation.
Yeah.
Don't act like a fan.
Yep.
Just chill.
Oh yeah. Try to always change the subject. I was told, you know, like if they're not about them.
Because I hear it all the time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. I know. I've met a lot of crazy people coming through the farm, and it's a little bit strange. I'm getting better at like being accustomed to be like, here's Woody. He's the owner. He owns all this, you know. And I'm like, I just try to stay humble, I guess. I don't know. I'm not the type of person like, yeah, this is all my shit. You know, like I'm not that kind of guy. I just like, I always like the man behind the curtain. You know, the Wizard of Oz.
Oh, yeah.
That was the dude I wanted to be. And it looks like I'm turning into that guy, I think, as I get older, you know, because they're like, oh, it's you? You own all this? I'm like, yeah, yeah. Never mind me. Never mind that man behind the curtain. Pulling levers. And
Same here. That's why I'm stepping away from the stage in February because I'm like, I'm just done. Like I just went to the guy behind the curtain.
yeah, it's a cool place to be, and it can be taxing to be where we're sitting now and having a bunch of people watch you. You know, some people crave it. I used to. I kind of still do, really, but more often than not, man, on a Saturday night, if I had the choice, it'd be in my jammies watching Ancient Aliens. You know, that's what I want to do now, and I'm not even 40.
Man, I just reached 40 myself.
Nice. Well, congratulations, man.
Thank you.
Hell yeah.
It's not too bad. That's why I want to step away and like start a new chapter because like it took like 10 years of my life. I'm like,
Really?
Yep, I did everything I ever wanted to do.
Yeah. In that whole realm.
Yep.
So like doing the interviews, that's like kind of like the next avenue.
Yep. Well,
Sweet.
I've always been like I've always interviewed folks because like I was a concert journalist, so I would interview like the big bands out there,
Yeah.
and then I started interviewing comics and like other people in different because I love like watching like Soft White Underbelly, you know, and like other interviews on YouTube, and that's why I don't have any of those streaming sites because I'm like I'm not trying to get to know like people.
Yeah.
And
We're all just people.
Yeah. And everyone has a story to tell.
Absolutely, man. It's awesome that you're doing this because this area needs this, and like it definitely needs more press. You know, like we need people to maybe tell our story for us a little bit. You know, because we're too busy writing songs, we're working our day jobs. So have someone there that's like a press, I think is gonna be nothing but great for this area, and it already has. You know, I mean, you interviewed Tristan, you're interviewing me. Like, who's next? Who's on the docket, man?
No, I'm not even sure. I mean, I've interviewed Randy from the Nog.
Yeah, I watched Randy's. He was funny. I've known Randy forever. It's the only bar I've ever been kicked out of, man.
Really? What'd you do?
Well, I body slammed John Macker on the table. Yeah.
Yeah, like the worst slut over there.
Yeah. It was an interesting evening. It was Whitney was the bartender. She's long gone. I don't know where Whitney is at, but yeah, it was actually I think Randy's dad was sitting there along the bench, and there's like round tables, and me and John got in a slap fight or something, and I just saw red, and I picked him up like Hulk Hogan. And then Randy's like, get him out. And we left together, happily.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. It's the only time I've ever been kicked out of a bar, and it was gnarly. Good times. It's a fine establishment to get booted from.
Oh man, I love the gnawing. It's funny you talk about Hulk Hogan because I'm wearing an NWO shirt.
Yeah.
Yep.
Man, okay, dude. So this morning I was just randomly wanted to watch like some House Hunter stuff. Celebrity House Hunter, Roddy Piper.
Wow.
So I was like, I gotta watch that shit. I forgot he was fucking dead, man.
Yeah.
And he was talking about how he got like stabbed like 3 times because of his beef with Hulk Hogan back in the 80s.
Wow.
I'm like, dude, I love wrestling back when I was a little kid. I thought I was the Ultimate Warrior on the hill. I thought I was all of them. And never did I once think it was real.
Yeah.
You know, even as a little kid, I knew it was like make-believe, you know, but that's why I loved it, you know? Like, these grown-ass adults are like jumping from ring to ring in their underwear. You can do that when you're older? you can get paid for that? I can put makeup on my face and jump off the top bunk and you're gonna give me $1 million? Sign me up.
It's like a slumber party over there.
Yeah, I know, and thousands of people watch you.
Yeah. Indeed, I grew up, like, they were my babysitters growing up, like, you know, because I grew up the same time you did, you know?
Yeah,
like,
that
my
late
parents-
80s, early 90s, I mean, they used to have the WrestleMania at the beach here at the Ocean Center. It was like Battle at the Beach or something. I'm sure you can find it on YouTube. But it was just a wild time back then, you know. Jesse Ventura, you know, commentating, you know, WrestleMania 2 or 3, talking about Vanna White and them doing weird things to Vanna White. It's like, bro, you cannot say that nowadays. You'll be brought up on charges like that, Governor.
Oh man, and Gorilla Monsoon and all that.
Oh, Gorilla, yeah, because he was like, oh, he's going to feel that one tomorrow, Gorilla.
Oh man, I miss those stuff. I mean, I still watch like, you know, stuff now, but like, you know, everyone didn't have their real names like when we were watching it.
Right.
You know, like everyone's now like John Cena now.
Yeah, they were a character. You
Yep.
know?
And that's what I love. Is like you can be somebody else and put baby oil on your stuff.
Yeah, and slide around a ring. And get paid, man.
And get paid.
Lots of money nowadays. I know back in the day they were probably starting to make good money when we were watching it. But I think like early 80s, they weren't making nothing. And they're just beating the hell out of each other. And they're like, oh, it's fake. Yeah, it's like fake, but they're still like jumping from like 10 feet and hitting the ground. You do that.
So do you have like a Mount Rushmore of professional wrestlers?
Mount Rushmore. Oh man, I thought about this morning when I was watching Piper, man, and I did love Piper a lot. Ultimate Warrior though, man, like Ultimate Warrior is a warrior, and I love his colors. He had the colors, and he didn't really speak English, so they're just like grunting, like that's me, dude. But yeah, the Nasty Boys, the Road Warriors. I mean, Hacksaw. I loved Hacksaw too. He's probably in the Mount Rushmore. So you got like Hacksaw, Ultimate Warrior, everyone was Hulk. And maybe Andre the Giant, I loved Andre. Such a kind dude, but gigantic. And he was an actor too. He was in Princess Bride, I was like, oh man, that's my boy.
Indeed. And I love watching like the documentary on him too, like, cause like he could pound so many beers.
Yeah.
Just like wow.
I never saw the Andre the Giant. I'm gonna watch that tonight probably. Because this whole Roddy Piper thing is like sticking in my head. He's such a funny dude too, because this is a reality show of him finding a house, and he's just like, he's the dude you think he is, He's rowdy, but he's like so gentle when it comes to his wife and his kids and stuff, And it's pretty. I thought it was crazy that someone tried to stab him over some Hulk Hogan beef. I'm like, dude, don't do that. It's fake, man. I promise you, they're both going home with a paycheck at the end of the night.
Man, I went to Spooky Empire this year, and like on my way in, like a couple of dudes dressed up like They Live.
Oh yeah, like
Yeah.
Piper and God, the black dude. What's his name? I forget his name, but he's a gnarly dude. They had the longest fight scene in history.
Yeah.
It's just like.
And like it was Piper, like those people with when their faces all messed, like like from like
Oh yeah, they got the glasses on.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And like we were sharing the elevator together, and I was like, "So are you out of bubble gum?"
Oh shit.
That's like the first thing that came out of my mouth.
No, that's good, man. I would laugh. You know, I don't know how many times he gets that, but you know,
Yeah.
kick ass and chew bubble gum.
Yeah.
Wasn't his character in that movie like Duke Nukem's basis?
Pretty much,
I think because it looks just like him, and Duke Nukem says that in like the '64 game at least, you know. Kick ass and chew bubble gum, and I'm all out of bubble gum. I ain't got time to bleed.
No way. But man, N64, those were the times. What were some of your other favorite video games from that?
Oh,
era?
Goldeneye, man. You know, I was a Goldeneye. Anyone wants to battle me on Goldeneye, I got you. You pick the guns, you pick the room, I'll take you down. Except for maybe the temple.
What's that? Good stuff. Like, growing up on wrestling, I just played all the WCW games and stuff.
Yeah.
And man, it's like the whole, software, like AKI, I think was like the people that, built those wrestlers, and it's just so cool. It was realistic to me at the time.
Yeah.
The grappling was all like awesome.
Yeah, you look at it back then, you're like, whoa, this is the craziest graphics I've ever seen, you know? And then, you fast forward to now, and it's like, man, I thought this was rad.
Yeah.
This looks like bad anime.
It really does.
But it meant so much to you at the time,
Yeah.
And that's what counts.
Yep.
Always.
I was mostly a Sega Genesis kid, but all
Yeah.
my other buddies had N64s. I just couldn't give up my Sega Genesis. Like,
Yeah. They had all the good.
and PlayStation.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. And so, let's see here. Where haven't you played in music-wise in Daytona and Florida?
Like where?
Yep.
Uh, Claims to fame would definitely be the Peabody, man. I played the Peabody, and when I found out like Elvis played there, and not Iron Maiden, some other famous people. I don't know. But I was really stoked to play on that stage.
Wow.
I'd love to play the band show. That would be like definitely bucket list. And I never played the pier either, the Daytona Beach Pier. But definitely my roots are at the Nog. That's where I cut my teeth at, and then like the Rock Bar, that's no longer there now. That was like Frank's Front Row. Mentioning old Daytona bars.
I love how the Nog is like where everyone cuts their teeth. I mean,
Yeah, if you can play a show there, and have it sound decent, which can be troublesome in that little tight area, you can play anywhere, man. I don't think I've played, and I do mean that as a compliment, like, it's hard to play a show there, and a successful show. Like, if you have a lot of people show up, and you sound good, it's an accomplishment, you didn't do that by accident, the Nog definitely has a built-in crowd that may or may not be there when you play, but if you can pack that place out, you've done something, you've accomplished something for sure.
I remember going there one time and it was just so packed out that you couldn't even barely move.
Yeah.
It was just like being like in a tuna can or a sardine can. It was
Yeah.
just nuts.
That's good. It's a good thing.
Yeah, and now it's like that's why I'm glad sometimes like the crowd packs out during the comedy shows and sometimes it doesn't.
Right.
It all depends on the marketing. Like I just spam all the Daytona groups on Facebook.
Yeah.
Come to this.
That helps.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to do that kind of stuff. I try to do it whenever I can, like and share, or word of mouth. Because not everyone's on Facebook or Instagram or social media. There's a lot of people that shy away from that stuff.
I don't blame them. It's just so much doom scrolling.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Most of it's crap anyway.
It really is.
It's like the new, back in the '90s, you had crap television, and like Facebook is kind of like crap internet. Like you're watching Jerry Springer, or you're watching like Judge Judy or stuff like that. But it's what people ate for dinner last night.
Yeah. Or like the political rants. And stuff.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, that's something that goes without saying. There's people who just get so out of hand, don't know how to take a joke, and it's sad. So you really gotta watch yourself on that stuff.
They with the media and social media, because like every time I go on there, somebody thinks that they're a journalist. Like, just because it's media doesn't mean it's actually, you know, the media's in the name.
Yeah, it's not press.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like the fall of the independent journalist, I guess.
Yeah, it's a bummer, but you know, when you get like news that way, and especially like neighborhoods like type news, you know, that happens in your area. I found out earlier this morning that I had an old friend that died, and I found it out through Facebook, you know, and that was just all I was seeing on my Facebook feeds was just like R.I.P. Billy, R.I.P. You know, it's like man, I keep seeing rest easy, you know. It was, I know he was a troubled dude, but let's just not talk about this on Facebook. I guess that's the only way people have the outlet, you know. So I'll give it that, I suppose, but I'm not trying to.
No way.
I'm trying to discuss all that on social media.
No way. And that's why I keep my personal life off them. Here's my show, come to it.
Jokes, you
Yeah.
know?
Come
Funny
see me if you
memes.
want to, yeah.
They should just call it meme book, you know?
Right? Exactly.
Maybe I'm starting my own social media website called meme book.
Absolutely. That's what I would do.
Coming after you, Zuck.
Good stuff. So are you on social media at all, like with your band
Yeah.
and stuff?
Yeah, Holy Humans on Facebook and Instagram. I don't think we're on anything else. I know we had we went on tour and we went all the way up to Burlington, Vermont. And that was like a 23-hour drive or something crazy to play for like 4 or 5 people in a coffee shop. But it was so worth it to go on tour and play for 4 people on the border of Canada. But this guy, he wrote us a review on Reddit, I think it was. And I don't even know what Reddit is to this day. But it was funny right out. He's like, it would be good music to have in the background while having a conversation. I was like, are you calling us background music, bro? What? We're psychedelic rock, man. What kind of background music are you used to? I mean, I hear Tears for Fears and Hall & Oates in my background music.
So what are some of your wild tour stories, good and bad?
Well, there's one that's good and bad. So, it was our first tour. We had our original bassist Anthony, and it was me, Anthony, Matt, the 2 Matts, Matt Opperton and Matt Wall. And we had played a string of shows, first around town here, I think one at the Nog, one up in Jacksonville, St. Augustine, and then we really started our tour, and we went to Fort Walton. And I think we had played there once before, so it was kind of our second time. We knew what to expect. And then we rode on to New Orleans. And by that point, playing a show every night for like a week straight, you know, we're starting to get a little wet brain, I guess, you know. And we had a day off in New Orleans to get drunk and hang out. And we were hanging out with this artist, Frankie Boots, who's a crazy good country artist that we know somehow. I don't know. But yeah, so we played the show the following night. Everyone was wasted as hell, and I got in a fight with my guitarist, and I was definitely on the right in that one. And kind of got in a fight with Matt Wall. We all did, and from that like little fight and experience, when we got home from tour later, like a week later, we wrote a song called "Isn't It Fun" down in New Orleans, and it's about like being haunted by a ghost in New Orleans, like a negative, like a crazy negative ghost, you know. And a really good song came out of it. So it's a good and bad story, you know. It sucked that we got in a fight. That guitarist is no longer with us. Thank you, Jesus. And we're so much better of a band now that he's out of here. Anthony was a great bassist, but he had to move on and do other stuff in his life. So we got Eric at perfect timing. So we're a strong 4-piece now, you know. Eric's got a song now that he wrote, and we play it now. We just learned it like last week. And Alberton, Matt. So we're all contributing. I wrote a song a couple years ago. I didn't even know I was writing a song. I just wrote some stuff down in the thing. And Matt Wall came over to my house to give me like a birthday present or something. And he was looking at my journal. He's like, "Can I take a picture of this?" And I don't know. I was hammered. And the next day, he's like, "Listen to this." And so he wrote music to it, to my words, you know. That was the first time I ever done that. And it's the first time he's ever done that. He's never wrote music with someone else's lyrics. So again, like me and Matt Law kind of coming together in ways that we haven't done before in like a previous life, you know. So it's a learning experience.
Most definitely.
Yeah,
Awesome. We went on our break. We talked about you being an ordained minister.
I am. Yeah. So it kind of started. I don't know why I did it, but it was free to be the ordained minister, and then it was $40 to get the plaque. You know, so I was like, yeah, whatever. I'll get the plaque, and then they send you a whole kit, a book on how to marry people, stickers, lanyards with the thing, and it's through a certain church called the Universal Church of Life, which is a pretty cool church actually, as far as churches go. It's pretty like as the name says, it's universal. It's like very inclusive. The book that they gave me, it tells you how to marry people like for gay marriages and all that stuff. So it's a really inclusive church. It's like non-judgmental at all, which I really appreciate. And then after I got like the ordainment and stuff, it kind of like started changing the way I think and the way I like deal with people. And I found myself kind of being more open to like hearing people's problems, giving good advice, and it feels good, and it's easy to do for me anyway. So I always try to take that extra moment in time to spend with people and make sure they're all right, and if they need anything, to talk about stuff, and it's kind of easy. So it started off as a joke, but I don't think it's really a joke anymore. And it's a good thing, you know. So if I'm trying to help people, I don't see there's a problem in that. I never try to step over any lines or cross boundaries or doing too much. I walk softly. So there's a lot of people that just need someone to listen. You don't even have to say anything. So it's a good thing to do. It's definitely fulfilled me in a way that I didn't know I needed, and I'm pretty fulfilled that way. So.
That's the way to go.
Yeah.
And it's pretty awesome and it applies to like what you do now. It's like when we go to the market, you teach them like the best way to prepare seafood is on the grill, and you teach them how to prepare it. And it's like so ordained ministry just definitely helps out in so many different ways. And even when like comes to talking about people's problems and ways someone to listen.
Yeah. Customer service. And, it sounds silly that you would maybe match customer service with some type of evangelism, but I'm not really selling anything other than I want you to feel better. So that's something that's really made me happy the past year, couple years, really 2 years, and I have the full support of everyone around me, my girlfriend especially, and the people I live with. My buddy Tommy, and then I have another person, Jess. I don't know, I think you know Jess. Lynn. Yeah, she lives in my backyard, or I live in her front yard. It depends on your perspective.
Yeah. And I think that's Jess was probably the one that ran the door when I was at that show that I went to. Maybe, I don't know. I can't remember who was running the door. It wasn't Keita though, that's for sure.
Yeah, it might have been Katie, Crazy Katie. They call her Katie Zook. Yeah, she's our other gay girl. She didn't work this event, but yeah, she's a great gay girl. She's a great person.
What I love about the farm is like if there's like I went to a station and I was like where I parked and I didn't expect to see anything there, and it just said leave something, take something or something like that. But just had a little station set up, and I'm like, all right, I'll just like leave up my Daytona patch here. And then Keita found out about it because I told her about it, and she was like, I gotta do that too. I'll take your patch and leave something there for somebody else to take.
Nice.
It was just totally random. I was like, I could park anywhere else, but I think that was like this divine intervention.
It must have been meant to be, and there is all kinds of Easter eggs around the farm like that. And, maybe make your day a little brighter.
Wow, that's pretty awesome. I love how it's all laid out too. Like there's a place to like relax underneath the canopy and.
Yeah, especially for this past the revival, we really Tommy has gone to town cleaning out underbrush and by spring and summer it's gonna be crazy beautiful, like green, and everything's kind of dead right now and barren, but it's gonna look beautiful this year. And we got Pisces coming up, which is at the I don't know what those dates are. February 12th, maybe. But you can find him on Facebook or Daniel Gonzalez's Facebook. That's my lady. And she does most of the stuff with that festival. Halloween's her gig. You know, like don't take Halloween. She was already doing the Halloween party at her little apartment before me and her ever got together. I've also known her for like 20 years too. We were friends years and years and years before we ever dated. So it's it's cool to date your best friend.
Absolutely.
Makes it a lot easier. Fighting's not so bad.
It's like Jurassic 5 when Nelly Furtado said, best friends make the perfect match.
There you go. Yeah, I never heard that, but I believe it. I do believe it now. So like Pisces is Jesse James' thing. Are you familiar with Jesse? He plays violin. He does like the open jam at the patio on Thursdays. He's probably someone you should probably interview too, man. He is balls deep in the music business around here for sure. Pisces is his event and it's his birthday. Obviously he's a Pisces. My lady's a Pisces. Tommy's a Pisces. I'm like the only Scorpio around, but I get Halloween, so. Yeah, Jesse does Pisces, and he's an exceptional violinist, musician, and that dude's got more gusto on the music scene than I've seen in a long time. He'll put together a festival real quick, and he just loves jamming with people. He jammed with Willie Hume a bunch of times on stage, and other bands too. He was popular this weekend with the Bluegrass. He was definitely getting on stage and jamming by the fireside and all that.
I'll have to reach out to Jesse James then. Like whenever
I'll send him a referral. Like, you need to talk to this dude.
Absolutely. Every time I think of Jesse James, I think about the motorcycle guy that dated Sandy Bullock.
I know, man. He screwed the pooch on that one.
Yeah, he did.
Old Sandy Bullock was looking good then, too.
Yep.
Now she's looking good. Still looking good.
Don't trust her with the boss.
No, man. Yeah, she might drop it below 55. Is it 50 or 50?
Just make sure Keanu is there.
Keanu, yeah. We always need Keanu, man.
I love making speed references,
Speed references are good. Shoot the hostage. But I'm a Point Break guy, I can quote that whole movie, man.
Indeed. Masks with all the presidents.
Yeah.
That's such a good movie. Patrick Swayze.
Missed you by a week in Baja.
Awesome.
Knew you wouldn't miss the 50-year storm, Bodie.
I did the stand-up, like I had to draw two topics out of a bucket.
Yeah.
And one was like a cruise ship and bag of raccoons. And for some strange reason, I worked in Sandra Bullock and Keanu Reeves twice that.
Yeah.
I made it a big old story for like 6 minutes, and they're like, where the heck is he coming up with Wheel of Fortune and Top Gun references and Speed? I'll have to send you the link.
Yeah.
It's just the most wildest stand-up set I ever
Well,
done.
there's Speed 2.
Yeah, but the cruise
control.
Cruise control, yeah.
That's got Willem Dafoe, man.
Indeed, he's so good.
Probably the worst movie he ever did.
What's your favorite that he's ever done?
Willem? Oh, jeez. Oh, man. I mean, The Lighthouse was cool. I need to watch that again just because I know his dialogue was no easy feat to learn. He played an awesome character in Platoon, man. And then, his little part in American Psycho was just spot on perfect, he's just a normal cop, It's like, Huey Lewis, it's like, pretty wild. I'm trying to think of other movies. I'm trying to think of those are great. Platoon, man.
Indeed. Boondock Saints was pretty good.
Absolutely. Why did I think of that?
Yeah.
I just watched that the other day, and I watched it on St. Patrick's Day, so it wasn't the other day.
And then Shadow the Vampire.
I haven't seen it.
Oh, that's when he was Nosferatu.
Oh wow. Oh no, that's pretty new, isn't it?
Pretty old. It's like 90s, I think.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Definitely give that a one.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'm a big movie guy. Like I was saying, I didn't have the internet for like 4 or 5 years. I was also single, so I was entertaining women, and I just I spent my weekends and nights just watching movies, and some of them were like, I got into I Dream of Jeannie, man, and I found a box set of Jeannie at every episode, and there's 55 hours of Jeannie.
Man.
So I actually took a break from here. I worked over at Zen Bistro for 2 years, and I wanted to be like in a kitchen. I thought I wanted to be a cook, but that's not what I wanted to be. I learned how to like see a restaurant run properly and all that, and that gave me the skills to do what I do here. But yeah, I would just go home every night and watch like 2 or 3 episodes of Genie and eat a KFC famous bowl. And I got really into like that era of television. So, and that's what my old lady loves too. She turned me on to the Dick Van Dyke Show, and they have like so many like awards for the writing, and it's really good writing. And you can tell like after watching Genie and a few other things that they are like head and shoulders above most, most shows at that time in the early mid '60s. Like their humor is so good and it's clean. It's like super hard to do that. To make really really funny good jokes and be like PG.
Oh yeah.
Not the worst.
Sometimes I love to challenge myself to see if I can do clean, and sometimes I can, but it's just fun being dirty.
Yeah, it's easier. I mean, that's the way you're used to talking,
Yeah.
with your buddies and just normally. The F word comes out a lot. I'm trying to keep it clean. I'd rather it be that way, honestly. I like to keep it for all ages. That whole like locker room talk when that whole thing broke out, and I was against it at first, and then I was like, you know what, we should challenge ourselves to be better. So why not, And then, you want to go out back and scream the F word, that's fine too. But I think as a whole, we should just aim to always try to be better. Clean, But there's a place for that shit.
Oh yeah. All the time. Yeah.
Usually when I wake up and I stub my toe, I can belt buckle too. Me and Tristan were just talking about Wu-Tang earlier.
Awesome.
He's starting a band with Steve, Ryder, Cole, Steve Smith, and Mike, I think, from Hot Robot. And he's been learning how to play the trumpet and the trombone. And I think they're going to do a ska band. But they've been doing covers, like, not Wu-Tang, but they've been doing, like, some Dr. Dre, I think, and Ice Cube, and some West Coast stuff. And Tristan wants to bring it over to the East Coast, the right coast.
Absolutely.
Oh, you got a hat too. I don't even just sit. I'm staring right at you the whole time. You got a hat.
I love those guys so much. Like I got to spend time with them, and during most of my LA times, when they were in St. Augustine, I got to meet like some more members of the Wu-Tang Clan.
Yeah.
And they had an after party at we were talking about how they're more relaxed after the show.
Yeah.
They had the after party at Paper Route, and I'm like, this is so neat. I got to meet Master Killer and you got here, and like Raekwon was like helping DJing. It was like the most random thing ever.
Yeah, that sounds epic.
Yeah. Good times. And, like everyone was there, including Method Man. Usually he's like out there acting, but he was like everyone except for ODB, but his son took his place.
Wow.
And I got to meet ODB's mom there because she was there and visiting as well.
He's my favorite out of the bunch. I love Method Man, and I love Redman too, man. But ODB, man, there's something special about the old dirty bastard.
There's no father to his style.
Je ne sais quoi, I think. Maybe he has a certain essence about him, that's like, you can't repeat it. There's no one else like him.
Nope.
Someone going to cash their welfare check in a limo. It's got some style, man.
Oh man, I remember that on MTV.
Yeah, was that Cribs or it was like, was it MTV News or something?
MTV News,
yeah.
yeah.
It was like some random news story. Kurt Loder. We followed up with ODB cashing his welfare check. Let's see where he's at now. He's got like girls and fucking a blunt going.
Indeed. Like Matt Pinfield's gonna be in St. Augustine coming up.
All right, yeah. I used to watch 120 Minutes, man. The Headbangers Ball, all that stuff, dude. But back when they played MTV videos,
Yeah, I miss those
It
days.
wasn't even that long ago, man. Really, like, I'm thinking like 2003 or 4 even. Like, I remember early in the morning, they would have like 3 or 4 hours of just music videos, They'll like, VJ introducing them and just like, here's 3 music videos and we'll do a commercial break for Noxzema.
Yep. I saw like Simon Rex perform Dirt Nasty. I think that's like one of his stage names was like Mickey Avalon and Malibu one time.
Yep.
I was like, man, this guy's wild.
I saw his cribs too. He had a funny cribs. He's like chugging vodka and stuff. That dude's a trip.
Indeed. What is that like? I can only imagine like what other stuff he's done, but I miss like, just watching TRL and like, Yo MTV Raps and stuff. Those were the days.
I think there was an interaction there that we're missing with television. Now it's just like, it has its own benefits of just like going on a service and playing it and pausing it when I've needed. But there was something exciting about live TV. We just don't have it anymore. And the radio too. I'm a big radio. I'm an FM dial guy, and it keeps me local because like stuff breaks out, over the radio, and you don't hear about it. I mean, a lot of times you get stuff on your phone and this and that, but something about a radio DJ, broadcasting over a certain area, it's magic, I'd love to do something like that, At the farm, I would love to have, this is like our next goal, to have a drive-in movie theater.
Ooh.
And then I hear you need like a 1-watt radio broadcast, and it covers like a mile or something. So you can pull up, turn on your radio at a certain station, and you can hear the movie in your car, Of course, that's going to take some infrastructure, like screen and the projector. But, I think it's plausible. We have many projectors that we do movie nights and stuff like that, but they're nowhere near what we need, They're like maybe the size of this garage door, like a couple feet by a couple feet. I want like 100 feet by like 50 feet, I want a huge mofo. And I want to pull up in my car in my backyard and go to the drive and watch Predator.
Yeah. And then trick people like like a real life Predator coming out.
Absolutely. I got a guy who looks like Predator. We told him the other day. He was wearing some dreadlocks. And I was like, holy crap, dude. Have you ever thought being Predator on Halloween? Because he's like 6'4", and he's a large dude. We call him Big Bear. And yeah, I was like, you need to be Predator. And I got another friend who's like 6'8" or 6'9" or something.
Wow.
I'm like, you need to be the alien.
Yeah.
You can have AVP out here, bro.
Absolutely. Have them reenact the whole movie.
Yeah, let's do it, dude.
Absolutely. Oh man, that'd be so right now with the drive-in. Like, have you ever been to the drive-in church?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yeah.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
I was like, my buddies used to be in with the organization that brings all the churches together.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name for the life of me, but it's an acronym. And he just invited me there, and like everyone had their signs out and everything. So they're fighting for affordable housing. I remember that. So.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
There needs to be more stuff like that, it is a church, but they do movies and stuff. They do like Disney movies or whatever, G-rated, PG. There needs to be way more of that stuff. There used to be one on Hand and Nova years ago, and you can find pictures. I see in pictures, and like I grew up in Norman or I grew up in Daytona. They'll have pictures of it, and I remember it as a kid. It was closed, but it was still an open lot, and they did a flea market there. And I used to go to the flea market as a little kid. This is late 80s, early 90s, I was born in 83. So I think by that time, it was like closed down. Anyway, no more driving.
I love going to the flea market. We talked about your belts from
birds, man. Birds. I wish I had all my belts. I don't know what happened to a bunch of them, but I still got like 4 or 5. Some of them are too small. I've gained about 70 pounds.
I need to get a new belt myself.
They can punch holes into it, but only for so long, different holes. And they won't charge you now. I remember my dad gave me a really nice buck knife for Christmas one time. And it was like, it looked like it's like a K-bar. Are you familiar with like the Marines? It's like a Marine issue knife.
Oh.
And it's pretty particular looking. It's a buck knife, but I got a sheath made for it, and I left it there for a week, and the guy charged me like $60 or something. And it's an awesome sheath. It fits the knife perfect, keeps it nice and secure, and it'll last forever.
They're always posting about it, like the designs and they customize it, and it's like I've seen like the alligator skin ones, and even the wallets, and it's just really nice, good stuff. And
you don't see work like that anymore,
No way. And the whole family there is awesome too. So awesome.
Yeah, they got some good-looking cow puncher girls. Looks like they punched a cow a few times.
I've always wanted to go cow tipping, like Chris Farley. And
yeah.
But I'm afraid to fall in the poop, so that's the only thing.
Yeah, oh, me and my brother, man. My dad had a cattle farm in DeLeon Springs, and he had like 30 or 40 heads of cattle at one time. But me and my brother used to throw cow shit at each other. To make a long story short, yeah, we'd have cow crap fights. And they were like hard from the sun, so, it's much better than wet shit.
Indeed. The ones in Cambodia, I always go to the villages whenever I go.
Oh, what?
Yep. And the poop is just always wet. So,
Yeah, well, I mean, over there, they're probably using it properly for fertilizer. They're harvesting it up and putting it and spraying it on their gardens like we should. Not spraying with cancer-causing stuff or whatever.
they just let it sit there on the road.
Yeah. Cambodia, man.
Yeah, been there 3 times.
What?
Yeah.
I would love to go to Cambodia. That was like, that's like my favorite area of the world, I think. If I had anywhere to go, it might not necessarily be Cambodia, but it'd probably be Laos. I met a Laos woman working at Zen Bistro. She changed my life. And she's like a 65-year-old Laotian woman who didn't speak any fucking English.
Wow.
But she changed my life. That woman, wow, my heart and soul. The food that she made, like, I'm getting goosebumps now, man. Like, the food that she made was like crazy good. Like, I didn't know food could be that good.
Indeed.
Like, I'm used to a hamburger, hot dog, and some good fried chicken. And not to discount any southern food, like collard greens and all that stuff. I love soul food, but man, this is on another level of soul food. This is like hitting parts of my heart that you shouldn't hit.
That's the way I feel about the fish sandwiches here at Backers. Like,
It's hitting your soul, huh?
yeah.
That's good. Means we're doing it right.
Absolutely.
Maybe I brought some of Nassau over here.
I'm so glad you were at Zen Bistro. Like, I went there and I had I just went there for like my the Thai iced tea ice cream.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, it just made me think of you and like, because we were talking about it like the first time I met you here. It's like, I love this ice cream. Not gonna lie, it's probably my favorite ice cream in the world.
Yeah.
Thailand's a pretty cool spot too.
Yeah. I would like that whole area, like Thailand. Well, like my buddy John, who runs his Zen Bistro, that's his place. He's half Thai, so like that's how I got introduced to that whole area of the world through him. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have any inclination of that area. So he kind of opened the door for me just by giving me a job. I didn't know what I was signing up for. I thought I was going to be a cook. Turns out I was going to be an expo, and I didn't know how important that job is. It's the the unsung hero of the kitchen. It's like the air traffic controller. Are you familiar? Like, he's the guy who says, like, fire this goes to 13, but not before you give 14 their shit first. Because they ordered first, Because 13 will get mad if they get your food first, It's like, there's politics there, too. Diplomacy is what I learned. Lots of diplomacy. And I have to do that at the farm, man. Because, emotions run high, and people want it this way, and they want it that way, and I gotta be the alkaline to an acidic situation. And that comes with the reverence, I think, too. Being an ordained minister, I'm the glue, or like the lubricant. I'm the lubricant to this machine. And I like that, It's like the man behind the curtain, unsung hero.
Most definitely. And the man behind the curtain, the Wizard of Oz.
The Wizard of Oz, man, my favorite movie. Absolutely.
Indeed.
And there is no place like home.
That's why I love going to Colorado like every year. It's next to Kansas, Arizona.
Yeah.
You were talking about going on tour from to close to Canada and performing in front of 4 people, and then going to Louisiana, getting into a fight. When I came back on tour, I was a tour manager for my band that I managed. We got pulled over in Arizona, and they pulled up my friend that was driving, and they took him down to the station, and all my buddies that had weed on them because they smoked weed.
Oh, this is before recreational, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're like, we gotta throw all the weed stuff, and then we'll come pick you up at the station, and then we'll go back home.
Yeah, we'll pick you up. We just gotta get right first,
And they went to the station, and they told us, he told us all that happened, and then they go, so we threw away our weed for nothing. And I'm like, yeah, I guess so. I'm glad I didn't smoke.
Yeah.
They were so bummed out about it.
Oh man, yeah, that's a bummer. Yeah, it's full recreational out there now. That was one of the, not the reason we went out there. The reason was her brother got married. Daniel's brother got married, so we attended a wedding, and then we went off on our own. But like when we got there, we're like, "Where's the dispensary? Where's the dispensary?" And her brother was so annoyed. He's like, "God, don't you fucking God!" Like, you don't understand, man.
Yeah.
We are heavy smokers, and it's legal here. You don't even need a reason.
And they legalize a lot of other stuff too, and I'm like,
Yeah, I mean it's an open carry state. There's people walking around with guns, smoking weed. Like, who gives a shit? You know, as long as you're not hurting anyone, I don't see the problem. You know,
Exactly.
and that's the way a law should be, correct?
Right.
You know, don't harm your fellow neighbor. And then we're good.
most stuff.
Smoke your brains out over in the corner.
Good stuff. And I think that's the way the world should be. And that's why I love going back. Like, as soon like I fly into Colorado Springs or Denver, and like I'm talking to the person next to me. They're like, "So why are you coming here?" It's like weed. And I'm like, "Oh, I thought so." And then he goes, "Yeah, but first stop, I gotta go to Pueblo, and that's where I'm. I have to go to the festival on there and everything." And they're like, "Why are you going to Pueblo? Like they sell weed everywhere." It's like, no, you don't understand. Like Pueblo is like the only place you can buy flowers. Like all the other options are there, recreational.
Oh yeah.
And then we go to like other cities to go smoke. And I'm like, oh, I'm glad that Pueblo has that going for them. So,
Right.
yeah,
Interesting.
yeah.
Yeah. It was an eye-opening experience. A bit, like my smoking definitely went into overdrive. I was always a heavy smoker, but when I got after going there, I kind of got more specific.
Yeah.
And it's funny, one of the dispensaries, I was always getting even the strongest sativa, even the strongest indica, AM and PM. I was thinking, the strongest indica they had, the couch weed, was a Florida Kush.
Oh.
That was in Flagstaff, and I was like, I'm from Florida, Florida Kush. Shut up, dude. And we got another one. We got another Floridian here.
Yeah, like when I went, my buddies are like they wouldn't build tolerance for me, and so they would give me the good stuff, and I couldn't tell what the difference was, like
Right.
sativa and indica. And so they're like, I take this big old bong whip, and they're like, all right, this is Mr. Nice, I got 30 plates at the Cannabis Club, ready, set, go, and then I inhaled, like when I was inhaling, so I didn't know what was hitting my lungs or nothing,
Yeah.
because I couldn't feel nothing.
Until it was too late.
Until it was too late. And then I was stuck to a couch, I lazy boy for 3 hours.
There you go.
Yeah.
I guess it's working. It's real.
It's real. And the altitude does not help at all either.
No, I didn't even realize that stuff too, man. I felt like crap the first 2 days I was there.
Yeah.
And Danny's younger sister, she's from Kansas City, and I guess they're like 1,500 feet up there or something. She's like, we're 3,500 feet up. I was like, really? I thought we were in the valley. And she's like, no, it's like your altitude sickness.
Yeah.
I wasn't really hungry. I was like just super tired. I couldn't get warm, which was weird. Like I thought the desert was gonna be hot, man. 17 degrees, I think. The Grand Canyon is snowing.
Yeah.
Like, wow, this desert's crazy.
It really is. And like when I go there now, it's like I lived here for like 7 years, and when I go there, like and the plane starts ascending,
Mm-hmm.
like I can feel my insides just clench up,
Yeah.
and it's like, and I give myself like a day to rest, and so I can get situated with my entire body, and then that's like the next 3 days I'll party with like my buddies at the fest.
Right. What festival's in Pueblo?
It's Red Fest. They named it after me.
No.
Yeah. I got another one in Daytona because I couldn't afford to bring my buddies from Florida to Colorado.
Yeah.
Let's just start another one here. So it's mostly music over in Colorado, and then like maybe a couple comedians. But
Yeah.
over here it's like more comedians and I sprinkle in musicians. So I'm gonna try and get you out there to perform. and
Absolutely.
I would love that.
Yeah.
And Hot Robot too, and Rival Hole.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like my 3 musical guests. Take over a Saturday.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I would love that. So,
Yeah, man.
yeah. As long as I can afford you, because I save up and
Oh man, yeah, man. I mean, shit. We're cheap.
awesome, I'm cheap too. It's like, just give me a stage and a mic and I'll rock this crowd.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, who doesn't like to get paid for shows?
True.
But I don't know, man. I can talk to these guys and do it for free.
oh, I don't want to do that.
I'll just buy them some seafood.
My rates are food, drinks, and cash or merch, and then I save up for my 2 events,
Yeah.
and then I just go this is like my Christmas present and my birthday present. 'Cause my birthday's in December,
Okay.
so I'm like, this is the only way I can celebrate. So,
Happy belated birthday.
thank you.
Yeah.
It's an awesome year so far. So,
The big 4-0.
yeah, never thought that would happen.
Coming up on her.
I always make Ninja Turtle jokes, you know, because I look like one. So,
Don't get me started, brother.
like one of my jokes, like, you know what my secret is? I'm like, what is your secret? Why do you look so young? I'm like, it's ooze. It's the secret of the ooze.
You know it, dude.
Awesome. Good stuff, Woody. So, Woody, is there any last words you'd like to give out to the audience at home?
Be kind.
Awesome.
That's it.
Thank you so much for the hour and 18-minute talk.
Yeah, man. Thank you for giving a shit.
Awesome. Anytime, dude. Good stuff.
Yeah, man.
Awesome.
My name's Woody, and you can check out his interview on acuitypie.com and with my buddy Sarah here, and you'll find other great interviews with lovely and interesting individuals as well.
Thank you so much, Woody.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Awesome.
This is fun.